discussion, you'll be outlining your data analysis plan for your proposed program or study. Your goal is to clearly explain how your data will be analyzed and to show that your plan is aligned with your design, measures, and program objectives. By the end of the post, anyone reading it should be able to understand exactly what variables you're examining and how you plan to make sense of your results. To begin, identify your independent and dependent variables. Your independent variable is the intervention exposure condition you are manipulating or comparing. Your dependent variables are the outcomes that you expect will change because of your program. Be very specific here. For example, your dependent variables might include knowledge scores, minutes of physical activity per week, blood pressure, levels of self-efficacy, or participation rates. The clearer you are about your variables, the easier it becomes to choose appropriate statistical steps later on. Next, you'll describe the type of analysis you plan to perform. This could include univariate analysis, where you look at one variable, bivariate analysis, where you examine relationships between two variables, or multivariate analysis, where you analyze multiple variables simultaneously. Make sure that your chosen methods align with your research design. Your analysis should match the type of data you are collecting and answer the questions you are trying to answer. Then you will explain the specific analysis you will use. For univariate analysis, you might include means, medians, modes, frequencies, or percentages, or measures of spread like standard deviation or variance. For bivariate analysis, you may list t-test, chi-squared test, correlation coefficients, ANOVA. And if your project requires multivariate analysis, consider methods like regression models, MANOVA, or logistic regression, factor analysis, and either way, in your post, don't just list the test. Explain why each method is appropriate for your data and your research questions. Next, you'll distinguish between descriptive and inferential analyses. Descriptive statistics help you summarize what your sample looks like, its characteristics, distributions, and basic patterns. Inferential statistics help you draw conclusions, test hypotheses, and compare groups. In this section, you want to explain what information you will summarize, what comparisons you will make, which variables you will test statistically. This helps clarify how you'll move from raw data to meaningful interpretation. Finally, identify who will be most interested in the findings of your work. Consider both internal and external stakeholders, such as program staff and facilitators, community partners, funding agencies, schools or organizational administrators, healthcare providers, participants or community members, policymakers or advocacy groups, or public health professionals or researchers. Explain why your research matters to these groups and whether it is to improve practice, demonstrate impact, justify funding, or supporting broader community goals. As you develop your data analysis plan, focus on clarity, alignment, and purpose. This isn't about picking the right statistical test. It's about showing that you understand the logic behind your evaluation and how your analysis will help answer your research questions. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys break down all of your variables, your methods, and your stakeholder needs in this discussion.